40 seconds.
Okay, great.
Are we started?
That's the podcast. Thanks everybody for joining us.
Great.
All right, so we're back here for like episode 3, probably episode 4.
Don't number it.
Who don't even know? My name is Emmanuel. This is my podcast. The name is blah blah blah. Insert later.
Just like put it in right there.
Right here, right here.
This
This is my friend Khalid.
What's up?
Madison's back. It's been a week and she's still wearing the same outfit. So
Wait, let me just change it.
that's what she been
Okay,
untucked.
Fine.
Untucked.
Now
There
it's
you go.
different.
There you go. No, I'm just joking. Doesn't matter. No, that's literally how it's done. It's like you do like however many hours, and then you post like an hour session, and then you do the next one, and it's like a different topic each time. So, but yeah. So this time we could just talk about something different. How long have you guys known each other?
A couple
Few months?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just playing.
I saw him at Josh's apartment once, and then he immediately guessed my Myers-Briggs, and I'm like, huh. Okay, I like you.
Dude, you know those like all of them? All like
Yeah.
personalities. Why do you pay attention so much to that? Or not? That sounds weird. Like I'm judging you.
That's a good question.
Why are you so interested in that?
Because I guess I really, really, really enjoy it. And I feel like that kind of attention to detail, especially about humans and personality, is necessary if you want to get the best out of them, out of yourself first, obviously,
Yeah.
and then out of other people,
Yeah.
you know, in your relationships, and all kinds of stuff. You know, I kind of like grew up, and I hate starting like this, but I kind of grew up feeling like I was misunderstood a lot,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't understand why, and then I found Myers-Briggs personality stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, this makes too much sense. And I started connecting it to different people, you know, and when I first found out about it, I found out about it through a friend.
How long has it been out? Myers-Briggs.
At least 10 years or so.
10 years?
At least.
What?
It's been around forever, actually.
Yeah.
Really? Because I feel like it just became a trend like a couple
It
years
became
ago.
a trend a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
but it's been a thing since, like, I don't want to say last century, but
Okay.
actually probably do want to
Early,
say last
mid
century.
20th century. Can you give me a date?
Yeah, because we're the 21st century, so
Myers-Briggs sounds like a dude from like the 18th century.
Myers-Briggs is actually a female.
Published the psychological types in
Oh,
1921.
my bad. Hey, women are
Briggs.
right. See, it was a woman intuition. That makes sense. What? Sorry, I missed that. What did you say?
But a lot of her stuff,
I'm gonna catch you later in the recording. What did you say?
if
I-
I remember my facts and my history correctly, a lot of her stuff was based on things from, because there were a lot of psychologists, psychiatrists, people that were interested in the mind.
I love how psychology and psychiatry came about by people proving Freud wrong. Just want to say I love every single psychologist who's like, I'm getting into this field just to prove this man wrong. I stand all of you, love all of you. Oh.
Yeah.
You just got like 25,000 followers.
There's a lot of people.
We hate Freud!
Yeah, that were active at that time. It was based on that, like, research. Like, Jung, I think it was Carl Jung, who talked about things like the persona and the shadow self.
Yes!
And the mind palace. I think that's a thing.
So,
That's
what
thing.
is it? It's the id, the ego, and the superego, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff.
Dumb stuff. Don't take it seriously, but it's fun to learn about it.
So,
like, is it like factual, or is it just like, it's like fun?
it
I
is
don't
factual.
know if anything in psychology can be technically called factual.
Okay.
Oh.
Because sometimes it applies, sometimes it doesn't.
No, I just don't know how we would prove it correct without having a bias, you know?
Okay.
Like, science, you can prove stuff correct sometimes. Even sometimes there are certain theories that we take as fact with science that are actually just theories. I don't know.
True.
How can we prove anything correct or true? What is the concept of actual?
If it's a constant.
Now we're about to get into
If it's
some
a constant.
fake.
Only if it's a constant.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
That's the only way.
I feel like for me, I've a lot of this stuff I've verified with real life experience. And when I say that, and
Like with the Myers-Briggs, because it seems
Yeah.
like you'll be like, you're this, and they'll be like, how'd you know?
see,
Or
but
like you even know them, and they'll take the test, and you'll be like, have you had somebody like you guess what they were, and they're like, what are you talking about? And then they take the test, and you were right. Has that happened before?
maybe once or twice. It was more so I would ask them, hey, can you take this test for me? And they would do it, and then I would see it and I'd be like, that makes so much sense. One time, actually twice, I do remember that I got to a point, and this was recently, so a month to 6 months ago, twice. There were people at my job that I asked to take this test, and I just wanted to see what they get.
Yeah.
And I did have a thought in my mind, like, they're probably going
I
to get
guess.
this.
Yeah.
And then they got it, and it was like, yeah. So after a while, yeah, you do start, it becomes intuitive.
Yeah.
You can train your intuition that way.
We should do a segment where you guess stuff about people, but it's not Myers-Briggs. It's just like Hogwarts houses, Zodiac. What color are you? Like not like
What's my
red and
color?
blue characters.
Kelly,
you know
what's my
that?
color?
You know that concept?
What's my color?
What's your color?
Yeah.
Green.
No,
No, he's red.
I'm brown.
He's red.
I'm brown, dog. Look at me.
You are red coated.
I'm red coated.
I don't
Purple
know.
coated.
I don't know.
Gray coated.
You just yelled green to me for whatever reason. If you were to ask me to,
It's because he's wearing a green shirt.
no, it's not that. Exactly. I mean, it's not that, but
black.
Joshua's yellow to me.
How'd you know?
Probably, yeah.
I
Probably.
thought it would be yellow.
Yeah, it's black gray coated, yes, but you purple.
I would say,
I'm purple.
you know what I am? I'm yellow blue.
No.
Not blue.
I'm yellow blue.
Maybe you're blue. I don't know.
Because I'm very melancholy, but I'm also very like, hey,
You
I'm
don't
very
even
bright.
know what the color coded people means. Blue aren't melancholy.
Oh, they're not?
No.
Oh, I'm just assuming based off of like what color, like blue means like I'm sad, like I'm in the dumps type of color. But I didn't know about the color thing. That's something else. I don't even know. I'm going based off of
What's
Hey,
my
my knowledge.
What's my Hogwarts house? What are other things?
Hogwarts house, Honor, Power Ranger.
I've never even read.
Ninja Turtle.
I've never read Hogwarts.
What
Same.
I've never read Hogwarts. I've never read Harry Potter.
Same. But something very interesting. One thing he was saying about a constant, and that's how you are able to gauge and prove certain things. It seems like people that are the INFP personality type are
Which is?
always interested. The letters stand for introverted, intuitive, feeling, prospecting.
Okay.
Um,
And all those letters are interchangeable, right? Like it'll be like INFP, and then it'll be like INF something something.
so that's
Yeah.
your
Because
I
those always
wanna
throw
say
me off. You'll be like,
code.
"Oh, you're INFP," and I'm like, "What?" And then I'll be
Yeah.
like,
E,
"But
I think, first
I'm
of all.
campaigner." So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like behind. I don't pay attention too much to
That's like the titles. The
titles.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
I guess the letters
those
are
are
the more
functions,
specific.
cognitive
Okay.
functions.
Okay.
But people with those cognitive functions in that order, in that stack, they call them stacks. They are typically interested in, personality type and figuring out humanity and things like that. Like Myers-Briggs, she was an INFP. For example, she created that entire system.
I am like the person who created this.
you are not an INFP.
When am I? If I'm
Well,
campaigner. No.
Campaigner is ENFP.
I'm a loser.
INFP is mediator, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're talking about 16 personalities. That.com personalities test.
Yeah.
A lot of people now is a new little trend wave within the MBTI community that 16 personalities isn't really accurate, quote unquote. I saw this one video that gave like 2 other tests to take. I took one of them and I got the same result.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I feel like it's
I see too many INFPs personally. Like I
Yeah.
feel like that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the test has like a bias towards leaning people towards that.
or just the way that the questions are structured.
Yeah,
a lot
the
of
way
people
that's-
answer them
Well,
the
wouldn't
same
that
way.
I see someone? I remember. I think we talked about this before, but I thought about it. and I'm like, wouldn't that kind of make sense? Because like some of the personalities are like people who are leaders, right? Some people, they shine the brightest, or they're the ones that captivate the room, and it's like, so. But the INFP seems like it's a very like normal, like not really shines, but they're a decent, like they have their own decent personality type of person, like they're very mellow, kind of in the middle.
So
Wouldn't that make sense though?
the mediator is very, very, very. They call them idealistic, dreamy,
Just
head in the clouds, very soft. So being a male INFP is like a death sentence to your dating life, right? And things like that. You're very kind-hearted, all those things. And
God forbid you be kind-hearted. Oh, you ain't getting a
no,
girlfriend.
right? I know, right? It sucks. It's garbage.
Shoot, the ENFP, E means example for all men.
Ha ha ha
Yeah,
ha
yeah,
ha.
yeah,
He's got the jokes. He's our comedian, by the way.
I'm gonna take
Like-
that out.
Just silence of us laughing afterwards. Cut in laughter.
No, like it's we're talking, like your mouths are moving, but there's just laughter. Hey, can you laugh in this mic real quick?
But basically, all of that. That's what, and they're supposed to be among the rarest personality type, at least in the U.S.
They're supposed to be rare.
They're supposed to be the rarest one. That's
Among
my
the
problem with it.
rarest. The rarest is the INFJ.
Which I also see a lot of INFJs.
Why is it
That I
why
don't.
is it why is
that
it
I don't.
rare? Why is it considered rare?
It's just that's just how the cookie crumbles. There's not a lot of people that are, and that's
And there
why
shouldn't be a lot of people like that.
that contributes to the misunderstood factor. Like INFPs, we feel like this world basically wasn't for us because the most common personality type, or among the most common personality type, are the ISFJs or defenders, which are, and like, I'm gonna get really, 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 really nerdy here.
Go for
The
it.
letters. I is between I and E, so it's introvert or extrovert.
Okay.
And then N is N and S, which is intuitive versus sensing. F could be F and T, which is feeling and thinking. And then P is P or J, which is perspective or judging.
Yeah.
If you change the S, as in the sensing or the observing, versus the N, you like are in a whole other territory. For my gamers out there, it's almost like an RPG, and you have like classes and subclasses. INFP and ISFJ are two different subclasses, basically. Like two different classes, I should say. They're not even the same class.
Like barbarian versus wizard or something.
Yeah, basically.
Like jock versus nerd.
Sure. We'll just throw that in.
Just help them.
Sure. Yeah,
Some
yeah,
of you
yeah.
non-gamers out there.
Yeah.
Basketball player versus Boy Scout.
Boy Scout could be basketball player.
I think probably better for the sports people. Everybody's on the same team and plays different roles.
Yeah.
Here's a theory. Do you think that the reason why they're so like we see so many INFPs now and it's was supposed to be rare is because the test is old and maybe it comes with like a generational thing. This generation tends to be more of this. That generation tends to be more of that.
I think that is a theory. I would think that is probably, and by the way, me personally, I don't see a whole bunch of INFPs. Like it was between me, you, and I think Kylie. I think.
Mhm.
And I am one of my, well, actually, two of my, well, maybe there are. I don't know. But I feel like we're typically the ones that are the most interested in it, and then we try to get our friends, on it more or less. So that's why.
Yeah, and INFP. So does INFP seem like it's like, oh, this seems like it'd be common, or is it like no this shouldn't be common?
It shouldn't be common.
Okay.
No. common is, let's go to the ISFJ, the Defender. They're and that and the N and the S, it's like supposed to be how your mind is. It's a function basically.
Yeah.
So you lean towards being more intuitive 9 times out of 10, or being towards observant.
Yeah.
The ISFJ, they're observant. They're real world, concrete, focused people.
Yeah.
It's not like we can't all be focused, but that's where they lean towards more.
Mm.
And most people are like that. Most people
13.8%, which when you divide that by 60.
Yeah. So they are among the most common. They're also introverted. They're also, the ISFJ is said to be the most balanced personality type. Just in general, just being able to sort of be.
I would like to see almost like a chart, but for each state.
Mm-hmm.
Like just to see like what is most common for each state, and then be like, and then everybody like you would see like comments on for the state, like, oh yeah, it's so true, like everybody hears like this, or this is more common, or like if I don't know, maybe they need to do an extensive research on this.
So,
that way it's like,
I don't know if
I
doing
think
it
they
state by
have.
state is a good idea.
On
I
some.
feel like St. Louis City and like anywhere driven an hour out into the country are vastly different people.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I guess that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean that's why, because it's like you would get from your own people like what you're most surrounded by. Like here, like in Missouri, people are just like polite, keep to themselves type of thing, and don't really like to get into other people's business. Whereas like I don't know, like if you go to New York, people are all about in your business, or they're not. They're more outspoken, I should say. Not all about in your business, but they're more outspoken.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas here in Missouri, we'll just internalize everything. If like someone bumps us while we're walking on the sidewalk, and be like, "It's okay. I'm sorry for you bumping into me." Whereas if you're like probably in New York, where people maybe are more outspoken, I'm not sure. I'm just assuming people are gonna be like, "Hey, what the heck? I'm walking."
Yeah.
And then,
Bada bing, bada boom,
Boom.
New York stereotype.
I'm gonna get beat up if I go to New
You are.
York.
You are.
And then in California, I don't know. I guess California's like, "Hey, bro, it's chill. Don't even worry about it. But don't do that again."
Where have you lived?
Everywhere.
Okay.
Everywhere.
No, I haven't lived everywhere, but I've been like around a lot. I've traveled a lot. So, but I wouldn't say I've traveled to the point where I know people from New York. I know what it's like there. I've just been there. But I was like young, so I actually really would like to go back there. But I've lived in Missouri, I've lived in Michigan, and I've lived in California. So, and I lived in Michigan for like 5 years, and California for 2.5, and then Missouri for like a good amount. Like probably, I was born here and I lived here for like 14 years. So, yeah. But it was definitely crazy going different places so much, and I moved around so much to the point where it was like hard for me to. It messed me up, but it also helped me. Like it helped me to see a whole bunch, but it was also like I didn't have home to be like, oh, this is where I'm from. Some people are like, this is where I'm from. Like no place is like this. Like I'm all about this place, but for me, I'm not like that. I'm more so I can jump into any kind of crowd, which is kind of good. But also, it's like, hey, like I can get along with you, but I don't know who I am. So it's like figuring that out can be like at least for the past couple of years, has been really tough. Mm-hmm. So, because it's like you have. For me, it was like I had the personality where I wanted to please people all the time, especially with my humor. So it was like I always wanted to be like, oh, if they laugh, they're my friends. But now it's like I feel like I've grown up and I've matured a lot more. So but it's still hard sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it sucks to be the new kid.
It does suck to be the new kid.
Shout out to new kids.
I definitely. I just realized we're at 4 minutes 22
I was
seconds.
wondering. Yeah.
4 minutes.
Is it 4:20 yet?
Once it's a minute, once it hits a minute.
But I don't know
That's a
if
number
I
that's
can.
divisible by 40.
And it's funny, when I was in school, I was asked. When I was in elementary school specifically, I was asked by my mom, "Do you want to go to a different school? Start over, whatever." And I told her no. So I've kind of, been in the same district area etc. for majority of my life.
Mhm.
So I can only imagine what that is like having moved from place to place. But from my perspective, and I appreciate you said that, there is some good in that, in just having that a plethora of experience, being able to, maybe it's not necessarily, what am I trying to say? Identify in a way, because you have been to these places, even if you can't call one place home.
Yeah.
There's, it is what it is. My dad's from Nigeria. My mom's from here in Missouri.
Mhm.
I was born in Atlanta. It's like that doesn't really,
Yeah.
I
don't know why I was like, you're not from here. Like I was like, you definitely.
Wow.
Like you're definitely from Africa.
Something.
No, I was like, you're either from Philadelphia or from Atlanta. I don't know why. I just had a feeling.
Well, I was only there for like the first 3 months of my life. I don't even remember how long, because I was a wee thing.
Oh, you're like born there, but you didn't grow up there. Oh, okay. Never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about.
But I was gonna say something to that.
Did you go to high school, Josh?
I was in tech school.
Ah.
Yeah, so he was like a year older than me, and he graduated before I did. But yeah.
You went to tech school.
What you were saying?
I was saying that there's actually more of the whole thing I was saying about class and subclass and stuff like that. INFP's class or main class, there's more of them in Africa than there are here. So that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
When I was really young, I wanted to play soccer. My mom wanted me to play basketball. I told her no. I semi-regret that a little bit.
I like basketball.
Because I like basketball too. I like both sports. But like it was almost like I was doing one at the exclusion of the other. I guess in my head as a kid, I felt like, oh, I do this, I can't do this. And maybe you can't squeeze all that time into both sports unless you're just dedicated like that.
Unless you have a talent, yeah.
Yeah.
Some people are just, they play any sport. Like my brother, he'll play any sport. He's like, I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like that's our sport in Nigeria. That's the sport in pretty much all over the world aside from the U.S.
Yeah.
But that's the
and Canada.
sport.
Canada all about hockey.
Yeah. My dad likes soccer and stuff like that. It's little stuff like that. If you don't know you, you don't know why you are you versus why they are them.
Yep.
And then you can bridge that gap.
Yeah.
And there goes the mediator in me.
Yeah.
That's why it's called the mediator, essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, so little stuff like that has been very eye-opening for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also very introspective. That's one thing that the little stacks, so they're very, very, very inward focused is another thing. Yeah. And that's another reason why.
I'm going to pause you real quick because we're about to hit run. Because we're out of time. We're going to hit commercial.
All right.
This video is sponsored by Audible.
It was sponsored by
Audible.
16 personalities, as we mentioned in like 17,000.
Yeah, this podcast is sponsored by Myra Briggs.
Yeah.
Is she still alive?
I don't believe so.
Actually, yeah, no.
Yeah, she'd be dead by now.
But yeah, rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
R.I.P. in peace.
I was saying something and I forgot.
Introspective.
Yes, that's one reason why I don't think I would agree with the idea that there aren't a lot of INFPs in the world, because a lot of people, to me, don't show that level of introspection / self-awareness. And even with me feeling like I'm an introspective person, I know I can mess up in that.
Yeah.
I have messed up.
I would say you're definitely more introspective than most.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But it's just seems like the larger majority, people, I don't want to say people kind of just live. No, it's like there is a thought and a pattern to how people live and things
It's
like
just
that.
you look at some people and you're like, why didn't you think?
Why didn't you think, like, why don't you, how would that action that you did make you feel if it was done to you?
Yeah.
Or just the optics of certain things.
I feel like, well, like growing up, I feel like I was always an outsider, but also in the sense that I was always watching people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always like, that's not good, or that's mean, or that's not cool. Why would you do that? Why did that person do that? Whereas other people will just, they don't really think like that, they just kind of do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like Josh, for example, is somebody who just does stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll think about it later and be like, that was wrong? And it's like,
Yeah,
or
we've
I
had
should have
many
said
of
that.
those talks.
And it's like, yeah, dude, let me explain to you why. And it's like, but, and there are people that, of course, do that, but I mean, like, I would feel like I was more so, because I would do that as a kid. Like, I'd be like, I would think about what I'm doing, or think about action.
Like,
Whereas some kids, they're just, like, running around and like, you know what I mean? I guess, because I would say I was more cautious than most as a kid. Like, I'm not going to go down the pole because I could hurt myself, or, you know what I mean? Like, this and that, or I'm not going to climb that. It's just, you could hurt yourself and this and that. But then it would go with other things, right? So, but whereas other kids, they're just like, oh, I'm going to jump off the swing, or I'm gonna like, launch myself. You know what I mean? I'm going to launch myself. That's awesome. For me, I'm like, no, why would you do that? It's dangerous. Like, and it's like, I feel like when you do that at a young age, it shows there's something there. I feel, I don't know, because
yeah,
at least when you know pain, like when you know when someone like treats you wrong, you're like, you think about it more, and you're like, you know, at least at a young age, maybe if you're treated wrong, you're like, you're more aware of actions, and so.
And speaking of at a young age, I feel like that goes in with it a lot. I grew up watching my sister, who's 8 years older than me.
Yeah.
And I grew up seeing her do stuff that my parents didn't like, and so I immediately thought, okay, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this. I grew up seeing family members fight, won't mention which ones, and I decided, okay, well, this is what I have to do to make sure they don't get angry at me for doing that, or this is what I have to do, this is what I... Just watching the people in my family and being like, okay, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to be like that, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. Like, I feel like that shaped me a lot. Maybe that's why I'm an INFP, I don't know.
INFPs are very conflict averse. Extremely conflict averse.
Yeah!
Like,
Joshua will tell you, I avoid verbal confrontation like the plague. Now, physical confrontation, I will, like, jokingly fight anyone, but when it comes to, like, if I actually have a problem with someone, if I, like, actually have a problem with someone and I feel like it would actually upset them to bring it to them, then I just don't do it.
But you smacked people before.
That's physical, not verbal. I can't do verbal confrontation.
Because you were like, yeah, I'd probably do it if it was like, you know, someone like hit me or slap me or something. But it's like, no, like when someone does something to you and like slaps you, you're like, something ignites and you're like, stabby moment. Thank you. Like, thank you. No, you're not even mad. You're like, thank you for this moment.
Finally, I can let that.
Permission. Thank you. And then she throws out her thing again.
Basically,
let's see, Madison 1, Madison 2.
Would.
Right. I mean, I'm not gonna throw the first hit, but if someone else does, then...
Thank you. Like her day's been made. No, I'm just playing. But
yeah, like verbal confrontations, I hate them. I can't get my words out. I can't even understand what my own feelings are with verbal confrontations. Like, it's, yeah.
And I feel like, even like for me, I haven't been around a lot of people, but I feel like if I know someone enough, I will pay attention so much to their qualities, and so much to like, I don't know, like I feel like sometimes I'll just know people and be able to communicate with them. They're like, yeah, I feel like you understand me already. Like, it's like, but that takes time though, you know, like sometimes like, I feel like I can almost, it almost seems like I'll read your mind. Like I feel like I know what you're thinking about, because I've thought about so much about feelings and like being treated wrong. And like, I'll talk to people, be like, why did you allow that to happen to you? Or like, why does that person act like that? And I'll think about it and I'll just deeply think about it. And I'm like, 12 years old, like young, and usually kids are just like trying to play video games, or just looking at stuff they're not supposed to, or just doing dumb things that kids do. But for me, I'm sitting there and I'm like thinking about like, why is the world like this? Why are people
I'd
like
to
this?
just raise my hand
I
and
don't
say
know.
I was both of those kids. I was playing the video games, looking at stuff I wasn't supposed to look at, and thinking about that. What you said.
Yeah.
I was all of that.
Yeah. Sometimes I wish I was just like, you know how some people you look at them and they don't even, you don't think about who you are. You just are who you are.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to be like that sometimes.
I don't want to.
Because I hate being. It's like being so. And I know I'm jumping everywhere, but the main point I think I'm trying to drag out is that being so self-aware can be so bad sometimes. Because like it can, you'll think too much about something, and it's like it'll ruin you, and you won't do anything. Like you won't take any risks. You won't take any like.
And that's why I make myself so chaotic, and it's kind of like I was jokingly chaotic for like 6 years ago, and now it's like become part of me because I wouldn't really reach out to do anything.
Yeah.
And like the few times I did, like people were like, "Ah, let's do it," and I'm like, "Okay, so I'm gonna do that more." And like when I'm chaotic, sometimes it's because like I made myself do that beforehand, like for years, just so that I could get myself to actually do something besides just staying at home and doing nothing. You know?
Yeah.
Self-awareness can be very, very crippling. Especially if you are turbulent. That's just another word for basically anxious, not confident.
Yeah.
All those things.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And
I think most people that have social anxiety, they're the ones that are like that. They're like, they think, oh, but what if this happened?
Yeah.
And I actually thought about a skit that'd be funny, which is like someone who has social anxiety, and they're like it's like the challenge is, hey, like interrupt the conversation to get someone's attention and then leave the conversation, and then they come in and like, hey, can I talk to you real quick? Excuse me, and then like the people, they like what they were playing in their head actually happens. So everybody's like, what the frick, why would you do that? We're such an idiot, this and that. And they're like, and then you just see their face like, and then you just hear like the Kill Bill, like, you know, like, that's what most people think is going to happen. So it's like, for me, I used to think like that. But then I would try to practice things like that. I'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, Bill, like, can I talk to, Greg real quick? Greg, I need this to happen, or I need this from you. Can you remember to do that this time tomorrow? Thank you. Sorry, excuse me. I'll see you guys later. Thank you. And then you just leave, right? But most people, they can't do that. They'll get nervous, and they'll be like, I don't know if I can do that. It freaks me out, you know? And so just imagine that simple thing, now apply it to, like, fun. Now it stops you from having fun. So it's like, oh, let me go make a fool of myself on the dance floor. And they're like, no, but what if people make fun of me? Or what if people do this? Or what if people do that? And then it's like, it sucks. And then, like, going to the pool. Like, if you're like, what if people look at my body? Like, I can't. I don't want to go to the water park. Like, you know what I mean? So it stops you from doing simple things, or even asking, like, hey, you guys want to hang out with me? But thinking in your head, people think I'm stupid. People think I'm dumb. People think I'm annoying. And it's like, it stops you. And I feel like I've gotten a lot better. Sometimes it's still there. I'm like, oh, people think I'm stupid. But now it's like, it's...
I think it really helps now that I actually have a friend group that I know I'm, like, really comfortable with.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, because a lot of that has changed for me now.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're a little bit more upfront and more outspoken?
Yeah, definitely.
That's cool.
Outspoken with us.
I'm usually not a very outspoken person, believe it or not. I know you wouldn't believe it.
No, I wouldn't believe that. I mean, I see it, but I love how outspoken you are with everything. Like, you'll be like, I'm depressed, or I just cried in my car, or like you'll just say
hey guys,
stuff.
guess who just have an anxiety attack? It's
Yes.
me!
Or like, I just had a terror dream, and you'll be like,
You want to hear about the dream where I was brutally murdered?
well, you don't even want to talk about that anyways. That's a different podcast. If you subscribe, it'll happen. 100 subscribers for the terror nightmare.
Also, okay, but on that note about, like, being, like, I act more outgoing with you guys, I do this really awkward, uncomfortable thing, and I hate that I do this myself, where if I like someone and I want to become friends with them, I feel like I can't get close to them until, like, we've finally done something in my head that, like, clicks a bond, you know? And most of the time, the bond that clicks is trauma dumping. And so sometimes whenever I'm trying to rush into a friendship with someone, which I rarely do, like something in my head goes, you ask them about their trauma. What's their problem? You're not going to bond with them until you know what their mental illness is.
Wow. I mean,
it's so stupid.
Yeah.
But it's like I that's the only way I can get my brain wrapped around how does this person work and how can I bond with them. And if like I can't like yeah.
I think it's because it's just such a huge part of your life. Like you deal with it almost every day, whether it be like fibromyalgia or night terrors or depression or whatever. Like, you know, it's like because it's such a part of your life, like you'll literally laugh about it, you know, and you'll literally joke about it. Sometimes it's serious, but you'll kind of not coast, but you'll just have a humor about it, which is pretty great about you too, because you're just like sometimes you'll be real about it. When you need to be real about it, you'll be real about it. Like this is really bad. But when it's like I have fibromyalgia, hey, like I want to die, right? But you don't mean it, but you're like, oh, I want to die. Like you'll just be joking about it. Mm-hmm. So when other people come in, they're like, I just tried to kill myself yesterday, and you'll be like, ah, and it's like, but they're joking. It's like, but you know, they deal with depression or they deal with whatever. You'll be like, oh, you know what it's about. So it's like, when someone would be like, that's not the greatest way to connect with people, but it's like, you know, when you a lot of people deal with depression, a lot of people deal with anxiety. So it's like when you can like already automatically make that connection with when it comes to like pain like that, it's like you get it. You understand me on the level that others wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like if someone came in and they're like the happiest person ever, it's almost a turn off because it's like you don't know what it's like to be depressed. You don't know what it's like to have anxiety.
Like I genuinely believe everyone has some sort of problem, and I have not met someone that I'm close to yet that does not have some sort of problem. So whenever someone acts like they don't have any of this or any of that, I get very confused, and I feel like I can't connect with them. Yeah. Like, it's not that, like, oh, you're not depressed, you know, sad, I can't connect with you. It's literally like, how does your brain work? How are you doing this right now? Like, and, like, my head almost questions everything that they do, because, like, it's denial, it's disbelief. Like, it's gotta be something, come on.
You gotta have, like, you know, a sixth toe or something.
Yeah.
Like, 2 belly buttons. Yeah. That's when you immediately saw Josh, he has one ear, you're like, but I already know.
Oh, man. Yeah. We walked through a really good topic here, and I am drawing a blank of how I want to jump in here, I'll be honest with you. One, I feel like that is a really good way of sort of vetting people.
Yeah!
You know, because a lot of people, it's usually, oh, we're attracted to someone, and then you just kind of stay in that, oh, we're attracted to each other, we like each other, et cetera, et cetera. And then when things go wrong, oh, crap, things are going wrong. How do I do? What do I do? Versus, well, what are you like when things go wrong first?
Yeah, exactly.
You know? Yeah. And that's not something people can always tell you, because people, one, we don't like remembering bad things. Our mind will literally default to not remembering bad days or bad things in our life.
At least you try not to. Sometimes they're the ones that stand out.
Yeah, sometimes they are, absolutely. But like, we try not to remember certain stuff. Yeah. There's a scripture that talks about don't say, why aren't the former days like this? Because it's not out of wisdom that you ask this. Why? Because your mind doesn't remember why the days that you were in before were bad.
Yeah.
But, and I lost my, help me remember. I was going somewhere. Golly. Trauma bonding. Wait a second.
Trauma bonding.
Something. So like getting into that situation, almost on purpose. So like, okay, let's have this
argument.
So like,
it's not like you immediately jump into it. Like you don't just like word vomit out your trauma. No, you kind of like dance into it. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, or maybe not
you'll
create
notice in subtle ways. Yeah, pretty much. Because in conversation, it'll be a joke, right? Mostly it'll come out.
Or sometimes I'll literally just joke, "Hey, what's up? Hi, Madison. What's your trauma?"
Or
I mean, I guess that's a good way to know somebody.
or I was more so thinking, because how often do people know what's wrong with them? Some people just don't know. So you got to put them in a situation,
and it is,
or watch them in a situation.
I've been friends with people who at first were like, I don't have anything, and then later on in their life, they're like, I think I finally realized what it is, and I'm like, hey, I helped you to that.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to therapy so much, I gotta be in
Mm-hmm.
I acted as a therapist to 3 of my friends before I actually had a therapist, so that's a thing.
Oh.
That's another problem. I see people going through struggles that I've been through, and I immediately jump to help them, and so then they bond onto me, but then they kind of suck too much out of me to where I have to step back, and then once I step back, if I'm not giving the entire 100% that I was giving them earlier, they kind of like back off too, you know? That's the thing.
That's a tough one too, when you have someone that you have the same problem with, or you have the same problem, but like you don't connect. And then,
it doesn't even matter that I can't connect. I can just help them, but then they just immediately, like, every day are asking for, like, help or, like, calling you up, and it just sucks, like, the energy out of you.
Yeah.
It is. You have to set boundaries. I have been I've been on both sides. I've been on both sides. I have been on both sides, except most people, to me, it felt like weren't like pulling me like to the point where it's like I was just being drained and there was nothing left.
Yeah.
But I have been on the side where I felt like I was pulling too much because
Yeah, I feel like that's
my
because we think
friends
about it more.
have like more or less, they said it without saying it, more or less like put me on break. They're like, okay, we need a Khalid break. And we'll say that about each other. Whenever we go without talking to each other for a long time, it's like, oh, were you taking a us break? And it was like, probably, yeah. Not on purpose, but yeah.
A lot of people have done that to you, where they're like, oh, we need a break.
Not a lot of people, because I don't have a lot of friends, honestly.
Oh, okay.
But
someone did that to you in the past.
Yeah, but like, yeah.
What was the thing that they were saying that you did too much?
They know certain things about me, that, well,
you're a murderer?
That not a lot of people. Yeah, I'm a murderer.
That's the person on this couch, you're guessing?
You're a little too much, and I just need a little break.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I get a little too messy around.
I did. No,
too many skeletons in the closet.
I've confided in them things about my life at the time. I was going through stuff. Stuff is still going, but you know, it's a little different. But so, like, it would become a thing where it was like I was pretty much only going to them about it.
Yeah.
And that is taxing. So you need like a network.
I have a friend. Me and her have been going to each other for the same thing for years, but we don't do it constantly. We had a mutual friend who was doing it every single day, and like it got to the point where like we can't, like we have the same problems as you, and that's why we kind of can't take this seriously anymore, you know, because it's like the daily drama of it all it's just too much. And so me and this friend who, like, you know, we talk to like the same problems, talk to each other about it. We only bring it up like once a week or so, and even whenever we do, if like we both are conscious of whenever it's too much, and we'll kind of joke about that too.
Yeah.
You know, like at a comfortable amount, because we've been doing this for years.
Yeah.
Boundaries.
Would you say it's because that person is new to it, like they're just kind of figuring it out?
No.
Or is it like they're just like they've been in it as long as you have, and it's just like, yo, this is enough. Like
she's been in it longer than we had. It's just.
I think
she just doesn't shut up.
Lack of,
or she just pays too much attention to it more than you guys.
Or maybe
she didn't even pay as much attention to it as much as us, honestly.
Okay. She just talked about it a lot?
Yeah. She made a lot of things about her a lot, and we saw before she was friends with us, she would go to people, and then she'd be friends with them until they almost gave up on her, and then she would like have a screaming match with them, break it off with them, talk trash with them, and then go on to the next person.
Okay. Well, that's how they want to live life. You go for it, though. See how that works out for you.
Yep, we are. Oh crap! Oh no!
Is that another one?
We're 3 minutes, by the way. Just to let you know.
Okay.
Man, I was gonna say something else.
But like
There's a
the
lot
only
of
time
good
I ever told people, look, I really do care about you, but I need a break from this, is whenever I had 3 people talking to me about the same thing. And I'm like, I don't have enough mental energy for myself right now. I care about you so much, but right now I'm taking a break for myself.
Yeah. But that's, I mean, yeah, because for me, I couldn't, like, I could talk about injustices that I've gone through, or just like, you know, a bit of trauma that I've gone through in the past, but I'm not going to talk about it every day, because then that would just be exhausting. And it's like, also, like, why think about it all the time? You know, because if it's already something you go through every day, you don't want to think about it all the time, or be like, have a serious talk about it all the time, because then it's just draining. And it's like, man, like, you'll start literally thinking like, oh, this is, yeah, life does suck. I'm thinking I just want to end my life. Like, that's what causes you to want to, like, go to that place. So that's why I feel like, even, like, they'll say the most depressed people, or like the funniest people, or the most humorous people are the ones that are like something's really like deep, sad about them. Kind of true.
Robin Williams.
Exactly. And like, I don't think I've met somebody that's funny that doesn't have a sense of humor.
Funny that doesn't have a sense of humor.
That makes sense.
My
Totally.
bad.
Absolutely. No,
I do that all the time.
What's wrong with that?
You know what?
We've
You know what?
never met
You know what?
anyone funny that doesn't have a sense of
You
humor.
know what? You know what? That's
Never.
gonna happen a lot. Subscribe anyway. It's gonna happen a lot. I do that all the time. Somebody who is gone through stuff that's sad, you know, for reasons, and they're not humorous.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, because I've gone through stuff, and I'm funny, and people would always say that you're probably depressed, and I'm like, no, I'm not. And I'm like, so I don't know.
You got that perfect amount of self-deprecating humor. I know you depressed.
Yeah. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know why, but I guess it's a defense mechanism, or some sort of like, not a defense mechanism, but
it's a coping mechanism.
a coping
That's what you're
mechanism.
looking for,
Thank you. Yeah. So.
Ooh, it'd be interesting to have an entire podcast just talking about coping mechanisms.
Yes.
Yeah. Got a bunch of them.
Next episode, because we have 45
All right,
seconds.
we're gonna hit commercial.
It's been great.
This is brought to you by Taco Bell.
Taco Bell, we have the meats.
Viva Mas.
Taco Bell, I'm loving it.
Yeah. Chicken burrito. Supreme. What's your favorite topping favorite item at Taco Bell?
Is that Taco Bell?
Yeah, real quick.
Taco Bell, ring a ding ding.
Yeah.
I always get this. What's it called?
Between the chalupa and they had this other one. I can't remember.
Yo, Baja Blast Diet is bomb.
It's great.
It's good.
It's great.
So
Yeah. One day we're going to have a
All right.
podcast all about food.
We'll be right back.
Bye.
Waffle House!
Alright, brought to you by the greatest place ever, IHOP, Denny's.
Shut it. No, Denny's is disgusting.
Sit down.
Whoa.
Denny's
Sit down.
is
We
disgusting.
can't start it.
Denny's
We
is
can't.
nasty.
Sit down. Sit down.
I've never had
Sit
anything
down.
that
Wait
I
a
did
minute.
not
This
want
is
to
abuse.
immediately
See, this
vomit
is
up
abuse.
from Denny's.
See, wait a minute.
Waffle House is god tier, okay?
Wait a
Can you
second.
find anything healthy to eat at Waffle House? Absolutely not.
can't
I
have this
can't
debate until
guarantee
you
you
sit
that
down.
it's not made of
We can't have this
plastic.
debate until you sit down.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But
What?
I'd just like to
Go ahead, say what Waffle House is just
So-
horrible. Thank you.
no.
Denny's
no, no, no,
is
no, 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 no,
disgusting.
no, no, no.
Wait.
Denny's is not disgusting.
Disgusting.
No, it's
Thank
not.
you. I'll take
Okay, it is great. All right.
No.
It
Name
is
one
great.
thing that's good from Denny's.
The
Not even
moved
the
over my
ice.
hammy.
Are you
Moved over
pro-
my hammy? Are you serious?
Are you pro Denny's?
It's.
Are you pro Denny's? Like, which is
Yeah,
your
so-
which is your breakfast spot?
God.
Say it right now. Out loud.
Oh.
Waffle House.
Oh.
I saw Uncle
This hurts.
Ben's
I'm
and St.
conflicted.
Like the chains. Of the
Uncle
chains.
Ben's is great.
I'm gonna say IHOP.
So
IHOP is the best.
honestly-
of the chains.
So honestly.
Waffle House makes me go diarrhea.
So honestly.
Not Waffle House! IHOP!
Thank you. You just said the reason why. Waffle House is horrible.
I have never gotten sick from Waffle House.
No.
You just said you get diarrhea from
Honestly,
IHOP.
from
It's on-
from IHOP.
IHOP.
I swear you said that you got diarrhea from Waffle House.
IHOP.
I'm gonna cut it so it says Waffle.
And then just clip it and just repeat it with her
IHOP,
voice.
IHOP,
getting deeper each time. But
is the best.
honestly,
Sucks.
between
It's
all
good.
three of them, I go to IHOP first. I think, man, what can I get? And I think a lot of it. Hold on a second. I think a lot of it is convenience because IHOP like is on the typical food delivery apps.
What's
so
more
I can get
convenient
delivered.
than Waffle House? They're like
Well,
every 4 miles.
They're not.
You get your food out in 5 minutes because it's fake as plastic.
So I kind of have to pass an IHOP to get to Waffle House. Almost, pretty much.
So that's just where you live.
Yeah, that is just where I live. That's just what that is. But
Nah, because there are 24-hour Denny's, and they're amazing.
Denny's are disgusting.
And
that I disagree with.
They're great.
Disgusting.
No, it depends
Denny's
on the
makes
one you
me,
choose.
while I'm eating it, I get acid
That
reflex.
depends
I
on
want
what
to
you choose.
vomit. I want to gag. None of their food tastes bad. How do you make pancakes that bad? How does your bacon make
pancakes
like
are
revolt?
The butter? Are you
So
kidding me?
bad. No, those
Alright.
pancakes are not good. How do you make pancakes that bad? It should
How
be
do you
so
make
much
pancakes
harder.
that bad? What is bad about their pancakes? What is it? Too thick or is it too? What is
Too
it?
fluffy, too
Taste
great, too
bad,
delicious.
not fluffy, not fluffy.
So taste
They
comes
have
from.
like a normal
like eating
pancake.
clouds.
I'd like to
Like eating
disagree
clouds.
with that partially. Taste kind of comes from syrup, pretty much. It's supposed to be how the syrup and the pancakes blend
No.
together.
You can have
That make
good pancake taste. Uncle
No, it
Bill's
depends.
pancakes doesn't
They don't know what
require
that is.
syrup
They don't
because
know what
they're
that
good.
is.
Shut up.
My viewers are mostly from Russia.
Здравствуйте.
and Mexico. They're like,
Uncle Bill's pancakes.
Uncle Bill's?
Wait a
What are you
minute.
talking
Uncle
about?
Bill's isn't that in the city?
Yeah, there's one in the city and there's one in the county.
I think I've been to the one of the
They're
city.
24-hour, man. They're great.
We should go there.
but
Back to Waffle House.
You guys. So let me put it to you this way. This
Let
is how
me
the
just
chain-
say
this
my
is how the
Waffle
chains
House
work.
friends.
This is how the chains work, right? All right. So if the chains were families, IHOP would be the family, like the example family. Like you would show up and you'd be like, wow, this family has love.
Why does it
This
make me
family
sick
has-
every time?
this
It
family
tastes
has-
good.
No,
I'll
give
give
me-
you
give
that.
me-
It
give me
tastes
a chance,
good,
give me a
but it
chance.
makes me sick.
The IHOP is like the family that takes you in. You know what I mean? Like if you've ever seen the movie, what's the movie with the football player that he's black and the family like takes him in? You know what I'm saying?
Something.
I know what it is.
The
I know-
blind
I
side.
know what
Blind
you-
IHOP is the blind side, right? Denny's is like the family where there's only that one couple good family members. Like either there's a good dad, the rest of the family's trash.
Denny's is your cousin
Or-
that kisses your other
or-
cousin.
no, or Denny's is like it's like, oh, there's the good son, but
Denny's
there's
is
the
your
mom
brother that
sucks,
sells your
the
underwear.
sister is a flusy something, right? That's how Denny's is. IHOP is the trashiest family of them all.
I have.
I
No-
love how
no good
IHOP is
siblings.
You just said I
trash.
No-
have. You just said I have.
IHOP is the
Yeah.
trash
Why do I
family.
do that? Waffle House!
You're both.
Waffle House is the one with the trashiest family. No good brother, no good grandma.
Let me give my
Grandma
Waffle
spits
House
in your
rant,
face.
okay?
Give me a second. Auntie does nothing for you. Cousins beat you up. They don't
Sometimes
love
you want that.
You will be the greatest comedian if you go to Waffle House because no one loves you. Nothing is made with
I love that no one loves me.
People who work at Waffle House
Hate it, and I
hate
love
they
that.
work there.
Let me give my Waffle House rant. Okay. Okay.
One last thing.
Shut up.
Waffle House and I'm gonna put a
You literally like,
I'm
look,
just
you
gonna
have
say-
18 minutes for your Waffle House
Oh,
rant,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
you start talking.
I'm sorry. You're I'm not.
All right. Is the food fantastic? No. Is the food healthy? No. Can I guarantee that the person cooking it didn't drop any of their cigarettes in the batter? No. Can I guarantee that two people aren't going to start a fist fight in the parking lot? No, and that's what I love about it. Waffle House gives you that 2 a.m. vibes that you always want of just two people having a fist fight while you enjoy your their hash browns slap, okay? Their hash browns slap. The waffles are incredibly consistent, unlike any other waffles I've had. Are they great? No, but they're very good, which is almost great. Okay? I love Waffle House. I know one day I'm gonna get to see someone arrested in a Waffle House. And I think I almost
murdered in a Waffle House.
I live for the day when I finally see someone get
There's someone
murdered in
sip
a
their
Waffle
coffee and
House.
just drop dead.
I cannot guarantee I will not get parasites from the toilet on the Waffle House, but I love Waffle House, okay?
How much time we have
The
left?
food is cheap and it comes out quick and it's pretty good for being cheap and quick, okay? Denny's, disgusting! Took 3 hours to get my pancakes out and they did not taste good, okay?
How many times?
Nasty.
How many times?
2 times.
That's
the one
it.
in Eureka.
That's it. That's it.
Those are the only times I've been to Denny's. Why would I get Denny's another chance?
Wait a minute.
That's for all of the times I've been to Denny's.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
You never been to Denny's?
I have. It's corporate.
Michigan.
I have. It
Michigan
gives
Denny's
me the
out there.
corporate taste of Walmart.
Okay,
You know what Waffle House
Fair.
gives me? Waffle House is the goodwill
Fair.
of breakfast.
Okay, you know what? Fair. Okay.
I'll talk about
But where was that Denny's again? Eureka?
Yeah.
Okay, that right there.
Yeah.
Why are you eating Denny's?
Yeah.
Out in Eureka, Missouri.
The semi trucks that deliver, they take forever to get there.
Why
That's why
are
the
we-
food is no good.
That is the question I have
Yeah.
for you.
I think that pancake that I had was made from just like some bread and then they mixed some egg in it to make a pancake. Not French toast, pancake.
Nah.
And then they microwaved it for 4 months.
The egg is powdered.
Nasty.
The egg is powdered.
The Waffle
first, then
House
you put it in
is
water.
God tier. I can always depend on Waffle House, okay? Because I always know what
man.
I'm going to get. I'm gonna see someone start a fight about politics or race or wearing a mask, and I'm always ready for that, okay? I'm gonna get food that gets cold in 5 minutes, but for those first 5 minutes where it's hot, it slaps, okay?
Waffle House is where the good conversations happen.
Oh, it's totally. He's right. It is.
No.
All the best conversations happen
You know
in
what?
Waffle House.
I've never had a good experience at Waffle House for this other reason. If you are my big people out there, you know you don't fit in anything and you have to be that fat dude or fat.
They have booths. Just get in the booth.
The booths are like this.
You scoot the table up. It's not that hard.
The folds be like on the table. And I'm like, this shows that I'm fat. So it's like, it's worth. Denny's, spacious. IHOP spacious. Like, they have a button that goes, the things move. Thank you, IHOP. Thank you, Denny's. Waffle House, it's like,
Bad.
I'm gonna feed you so you get fat and also show that you're fat and make fun of you.
What's the problem
Ruin
with
your
that?
life.
What's the problem with
Ruin
that?
your
What's wrong
life.
with being fat?
Ruin your life.
What's wrong with being
Absolutely nothing, but I don't want to be reminded of it.
fat? It's the toxicity, baby.
Nah. And it's uncomfortable. Chairs, the worst.
I love Waffle House.
The booths, the worst.
Waffle House
Horrible.
is what life truly is,
How much
okay?
time we
There's
got left?
none of that corporate paint or anything
time we
on
got
top
left?
of it.
5
Waffle
minutes.
House is what life truly is, okay?
Okay, you know what we're gonna do? You know what we're gonna do? We gotta do side by side.
We can do that,
We
yeah.
have to, like, and the thing is, it's like you have to, they're blindfolded. We order from each place, and whatever neutral party serves us, and we'll see.
Does
we'll see
Denny's
what's up.
have waffles? Because I'm gonna know if it's not a waffle.
Yes,
That's the
it
thing.
does have waffles.
Okay.
They do. Well, we can't test the waffle
It's Waffle House!
against the pancake though,
Technically.
because Denny's ain't about the waffles; they're about the pancakes usually.
Well, then I'm gonna know the
And also
difference.
IHOP is usually about the pancakes.
I do like that, like, if you're really, really, really good at something, you know, and you just focus on that thing. So Waffle House is like, hey, look, we have really, really great waffles. We don't have much else. We have really, really great waffles and others, you know,
really good
sides and
hash
stuff.
browns, really good hash browns.
They're grits. Grits are amazing. I know you said you didn't like them. Or
I've
you
never eaten grits, actually.
You've never eaten grits.
Yeah.
All the times you've been to Waffle House, you never said, I'm gonna try some grits.
I'm a picky eater. Why would I branch out?
Okay,
Why would
so
I do that?
I forget. You are a picky eater.
Which is why
I
my
wanna-
food opinion is the most valid.
No, it is not.
I'm going to...
Tell them what you get at McDonald's. Tell them what you get at McDonald's.
I like their pancakes.
What's the sandwich you
at
get?
McDonald's. I like the pancakes at McDonald's. You know
What's-
what? They're better than the ones at Denny's.
Oh heck yeah! No, they're good. No, you can't argue that. I've made that pancake before too. It was awesome. I don't even know how I did it. But talk about what you get for a sandwich at McDonald's.
I get chicken nuggets, and sometimes I get a grilled
No.
cheese because it's
A grilled cheese?
nostalgic. Because
A grilled
it's
cheese at McDonald's.
nostalgic.
No, she
It's
orders.
nostalgic.
She's
You
not-
know another thing
she
about
still
Waffle
orders-
House? It's not even nostalgic
She
to me.
still
I never even
orders-
went there as a kid. I just love it as an adult. Okay, there's no nostalgia.
no,
You know where I would have nostalgia? Denny's or IHOP, but I don't have nostalgia at either of those. I just love Waffle House this much.
She orders a sandwich that just has cheese on it, and that's it. And she calls herself a foodie. She's not.
I didn't call myself a foodie. I
She
called
says
myself
she
a picky
understands
eater.
food and she understands
just
what's
gonna
I
great.
called myself a picky eater.
You don't understand nothing about food exactly. Thank you.
I go to McDonald's for a grilled
You are
cheese
not-
for the
you are not,
nostalgia. You guys in the comics will understand me. Sometimes you just want a grilled cheese, okay? And sometimes you just want something that you used to eat as like a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
I don't get the grilled cheese all the time. I most of the
We
time
gotta
get
figure out a
chicken
way
nuggets.
to test this, to challenge this.
put this to the real test.
It's gonna have to.
Just disgusting. Like, I know they're gonna be
I'm gonna be really, really honest. I hate that we're having this food conversation. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I'm feeling really, really gassy right now. So
It's from the Denny's.
I need to get up and maybe like let out.
You could leave the room, please.
Yeah, I just
Destroy us.
you know, we got 2 minutes left. Okay.
Brought to you by IHOP.
We can stop here.
Sponsored by
Waffle
IHOP.
House won the debate. Let us know in the comments who you think won, but it was Waffle House.
Sponsored by IHOP. Thank you.
Oh, so it's
Always
sponsored
there
by
for
IHOP. That means your opinion is biased, huh?
Just supporting.
Sponsored by
Supporting.
Uncle Bill's.
IHOP supporting you
Uncle
like a true family.
Bill's. If you ever come to St. Louis, you gotta go to Uncle Bill's, man.
Yeah, for
I also cannot guarantee that you won't get shot in the parking lot at 2 a.m. just like Waffle House, okay? Those places with the good waffles, you are going to get shot at a place with good waffles.
Wait,
Okay,
what
that's
did
just the baseline.
When did you? When did this happen? I go there thinking I'm safe.
You're not safe at an Uncle Bill's.
It's on Manchester though. Manchester, right?
Not the one in the city, definitely, but even the
No,
one in
the one in the
Manchester.
city.
Even the one
The
in
one
Manchester.
is okay. Has
I
to
could
be.
see
It is
you
fine.
getting shot by a cop.
No,
on
I
the
could
one
see
in
you. I
Manchester.
could see you being roped, but not killed though. All right, I'm just gonna cut it there. If anybody watches this,
Waffle House.
thanks for watching. No.